and I'm not using that today because it's my fault. So welcome back, friends. Today is my favorite day of the week, Sawmill Saturday. Let me show you guys what we got going on. And a quick weather update for those of you that are interested. We did have about 6 inches of snow. It's finally melting today. We're down to probably 3. And this place is on the verge of being a muddy mess. I tell you what, snow looks really nice when it comes down, but when it starts to melt, if you have a farm, you have a giant mud pit afterwards. Check this out. It's already melted right here, and we got nothing but mud right there. The ground's thawing out, and according to the weatherman, we got some rain coming at 4 o'clock today. And we really don't need it, but you don't have a choice in the matter, do you? Before we go any further, let me grab my coffee. Juniper Mountain, the best coffee in the world. Not sponsored. So today, friends, we're going to be sawing with the mobile dimensional, and I've been doing something on it totally wrong because I didn't read the manual. Actually, I did read the manual, I just looked over this part, or maybe I just got it wrong, who knows. But anyways, right here is the throttle for the sawmill. This is at idle, and this right here is about halfway. Now that's how I've been running this sawmill up until now, and that's probably why it was going slower than I thought it should. I was doing some research last night and I read the manual again for like the second time, and I might have looked over this the first time I read it, but it talked about the throttle, and according to the manual, that right there is for idle. This is for intermediate is what the term was. If you're doing like a small cedar or something like that, let me switch hands with this camera so I don't drop you guys. So halfway is intermediate, and according to the manual, for hardwoods and for proper sawing of decent sized logs, all the way over. So up until now, I've only been sawing at half power. Today that changes. So this is the first log that we're doing with this mill, and that's our test cuts. I've got my little step going right there. That's kind of neat right there. And I already have the sawmill set up to come over and make the next cut, which will be 5/4 on the thickness. And these are about 7 inches on the width. And real fast, let's talk about these 2 edger blades. Up until now, I've only been using this bottom one right here, and it's in a fixed position. This one raises up and down. So if I wanted to, I got like 7 inches of height right there to cut on. I could bring this down and cut a 4-inch piece right here and a 3-inch piece above it if I brought this down. I could do any kind of measurement you could think of within 7 inches right there and get 2 boards with 1 pass. That's going to be handy to have when I start doing dimensional lumber at this sawmill, doing like 2x6s and 2x4s. I think you can saw, and I could be wrong, I need to look at the manual once again about this. I believe you can saw 2 2x6s with 1 pass on this sawmill. And somebody also asked me if I would be doing live edge slabs on this sawmill. Not going to do live edge slabs with this mill. That's what the Wood-Mizer is made for. The Wood-Mizer will do the live edge slabs. I'll probably still saw my beams on the Wood-Mizer, all my grade sawing, etc., etc. Ooh, did y'all hear that snow fall right there? It kind of scared me. And also for quarter sawing. I don't think I could quarter saw with this circle sawmill the way I can with the Wood-Mizer, especially with the chain turner. So both mills have different practices when you start thinking about sawmilling, and they work together pretty good in my opinion. I've talked to a lot of guys over the past week or two who own this mobile dimensional mill, and a lot of them also own a Wood-Mizer. They say they'll work really good together. So guys, I think we're set up here and ready to go. And let me cover one more thing. Those batteries right there, I got the covers off, are in battery boxes. Some of you guys are telling me to put those things on some kind of board or something, get them off the ground. Well, those are little boxes that are for boats. So we're in good shape right there, but I appreciate you guys letting me know about it. All right, guys, I'm going to warm up the engine. And while I'm doing that, go grab yourself a cup of coffee. And if you don't care, hit that thumbs up button down below. It really helps the channel. I'll see you guys back here in just a minute. Alright guys, I noticed a big difference giving that sawmill some more power. Got two pretty nice boards right here. These are 5/4, 7 inches wide. Got those nice circle sawn marks on the face of the board. I love the way that looks. And these are nice and straight, guys. This sawmill does have a drag back arm, and I'm not using that today because it's my fault. Let me show you. All right, so when you're going forward, this little arm right here comes up out of the way. But when you go backwards, it falls down, and that's what pulls the lumber back. It lands on this table and this roller right here. Then you catch it back here in the back and, you know, put it wherever you're gonna stack it at. And here's why I'm not using it right now. I tried it, but it didn't work. And the reason is, this gap is way too wide right here. I tried to pull a board back yesterday, and when it gets to about right here, it just falls off. So what I need to do is, I got two options. I can take these two beams and move them over closer, or I can mill up one more beam, because I have another one of these that came with the mill, and just put one more of those closer to the sawmill. That's probably what we'll do, since those two are kind of cut to size already. But that's why we're not using the drag back right now. And it's not a big deal. You know, I just walk over here when it gets to the end. I get the board off and I set it over here. And these beams right here actually make a really nice set of sawhorses to stack your lumber on, actually. Working out pretty good, but I do want that drag back to work properly. So maybe in the next few days we'll come down here and mill up another beam so we can do that. That gap right there, that's about 5 feet or so. So for the next cut, I'm going to try out the top edger blade and cut 2 boards on 1 pass. So right now we have about a 7-inch wall right there. If that's the correct terminology for this mill, we got about 7 inches to work with. I'm going to take the top edger blade, which is this blade right here. I'm going to drop it down so that we make, let's say, let's make a 5-inch board and a 2-inch board. So we'll get 2 boards out of this next cut if I got it set right. So right here on top of the mill is the top edger blade adjustment. You move this dial to move it up and down, and there's the lock below it. Right now it's set on 10 inches. So I'm going to lower that down to 5 inches. And it should give us a 1x5 and a 1x2, and I think that factors in the kerf as well, but it may be less on the width. Be kind of interesting to see what we get out of this. So every time you make a cut, you come back here, you go back to 0. Where's it at? There it is. So right there is 0, and then you crank over until you get to your desired cut right there, which is 5/4. And this right here factors in the kerf as well. And I think the kerf on this mill is 5/16. All right, guys, that went pretty good, but I still think I'm going too slow. I think I need to speed up my feed rate just a little. So here's the 2 boards right there, 5 inches, right on the money. But this one was not what I thought it was going to be. This one is 6/4, 1.5 inches, and I thought it might be 2 inches, but I didn't factor in the kerf, and I thought that top edger blade may factor it in on that dial indicator, but apparently it doesn't. So I need to go ahead and factor in an extra 1/2 inch when I'm running 2 blades, I think. I think that's the proper way to do it. I don't want to mess with this mill, guys, and do all kinds of different cuts like this and just learn it as I go here. 2 things here before we get started back on this log. The first thing is, this is going to be a short video today because I'm only able to use 2 of my cameras. I've gotten rid of my GoPros. I'm tired of fighting them. I went ahead and ordered myself 2 more DJI cameras. That's what I'm using right now. These DJI cameras, they work good in the cold weather, and they don't care when it's cold outside, but it's hard to make a good sawmill video with just 1 camera because I like to have different angles on the sawmill. So that's why this video is going to be cut short. But after this one, we're going to get back to the longer videos because my 2 new cameras should be here today. All right, friends, I need your all's help on this. I need some ideas. This opening right here is 24 foot, 14 foot tall. And I talked in previous videos about closing this in, that way when it rains, because our weather comes from that direction and won't blow in here on the mill. But I tell you what, guys, it's a really nice backdrop for this sawmill right here. I got the red barn back there, got my little field. It looks really nice on camera, and it's really nice scenery as far as your work day goes. You're not looking at a metal wall, you're actually looking out and seeing the mountains and everything. So I'm wondering if somebody out there has came up with a way to close something in like this and then open it when you want to use it, such as when I want to run the sawmill. I'm thinking some kind of curtain or maybe some giant doors that fold open or something. I don't know. I'm looking for ideas. I'm sure somebody out there has had this same issue and they've solved it already. And I could do a rolling door, actually, have my roller on that side over there and just roll it over out of the way. But man, 24 foot, that's going to be a heavy door out there. I'm not sure if that's possible or not because it's 14 foot tall, 24 foot wide. Let's look over here for just 1 second. You guys bear with me. So if I put a track up here for a rolling door, I can't go this way because there's nothing there, but I could put my rolling door hardware that way and move that downspout and finish the gutter, have the downspout over here. But I'm wondering if that would be too big for a rolling door. Maybe I could do 2 of them. 12 foot by 14 foot, 2 really light doors just framed in with some metal and then roll them that way out of the way whenever I want to saw. Is that gonna be too big? I don't know. Like I said, somebody out there's probably already faced this issue. Give me some ideas down in the comments, guys. Thanks in advance. So I'm filming all this on one camera, and to be honest with you, it's wearing me out running back and forth. So until the new cameras get here, which should be today, I'm going to end this video right here, and I'll probably go ahead and keep on sawing though, and finish out this run right here. Then we'll start working down, get close to the pith right there. And it's really interesting, guys, to see the inside of these logs as you saw them like this. Never seen a log like this where you can look into it as you're sawing down into it. That's pretty unique right there. So guys, in closing here, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll finish this up off camera, and hopefully the new cameras will be here today. They say they're out for delivery, but I don't know. The mail's not run here in like 3 days. I'll be surprised if the FedEx guy runs here or not, but we'll see. So in closing here, friends, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully with the new cameras here, get rid of this snow, we'll get back to normal on our normal videos that usually last 20 to 30 minutes. And speaking of that, how long do you guys like for me to make these videos for? I'm going to give you a few answers below. 10, 20, or 30 minutes. Let me know below what your preference is. I don't mind making them longer, but it sure does take a lot of editing to do that. And it seems like around 18 to 19 minutes is a sweet spot for you guys. So anyways, let me know down in the comments. That's what we'll do from here on out. So in closing here, guys, once again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys back here on the next video. Oh, better lock her in 4-wheel drive.